Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to a history of people falling into the Grand Canyon. I've always wanted to watch a video like this. Do you guys remember the episode of The Simpsons where Bart and Homer want to skateboard across the Springfield Gorge? And then Homer, he's about to make it and then he just starts falling down. That scene always makes me think of the Grand Canyon. And if anyone's actually fallen into it, because that is probably, that's a wrap if you do fall into it. It's just so high up. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I really want to go and see it. But yeah, if you do fall into it, that's it for you.
On the 26th of February, 1919, the Grand Canyon in Arizona officially became the 15th national park of the United States of America. The canyon, actually a gorge of the Colorado River, and the many tributary canyons which surround it, are mostly comprised of extremely rugged and sheer terrain, although areas along the north and south rim have been maintained and cultivated for the purposes of tourism. Dangers abound within the canyon itself, but even from well-maintained tourist areas on the rim, it is surprisingly common for people to fall to their death, often in ways that completely defy belief. National parks in America are protected areas of wilderness, selected for their natural beauty, their unique geology and ecosystems, and for the abundant opportunities for hiking, exploring, and other recreation that they offer. The Grand Canyon National Park is among the most popular, and is indeed considered to be one of the 7 natural wonders of the world.
Wow!
Millions of people visit the Grand Canyon National Park each year, most of them without incident. They come to see the mind-bendingly vast gorge itself, to hike some of the many trails within it, to observe ancient rock art and geological formations, and sometimes to enjoy river rafting or helicopter flights over the canyon. To a casual visitor, the idea that someone might fall from the rim into the canyon itself can seem absurd. The gorge is so vast, so unmissable, and so obviously hazardous that it seems only logical that it should inspire caution in all those who venture close to it. And yet records exist of more than 50 falls, the majority fatal, over the course of the national park's existence.
Wow. I mean, 50, I suppose, 1919 to now, so that's 105 years. So 50, so that's 0.5 a year. So I guess considering millions of people visit every year, that's not, it's bad, but it's not that bad, I guess, if you know what I mean.
Most of these falls occurred not in remote areas off the beaten path, but instead at popular, busy viewing areas. Specifically because of the high number of visitors, many of the most popular sightseeing areas have been fitted with railings or walls, as well as highly visible signs warning tourists to stay on the trails and away from the edge. To further mitigate the danger, every visitor to the national park is given either a pamphlet or a verbal warning describing the most prominent risks to life. Rangers patrol on a regular basis, speaking to visitors whenever they can to curtail any dangerous behaviour. And yet still, despite all of this, falls do occur.
Yep.
3 causes predominate when it comes to falls from the rim. First and foremost, people tend to fall when trying to take, or pose for, striking photographs. While death in pursuit of a selfie might seem like a relatively modern phenomenon, the first fall of this kind occurred at a surprisingly early point in the canyon's history. On the 22nd of March, 1925, 40-year-old Lewis W. Thompson was attempting to take a picture of himself standing on the rim of the canyon.
Oh God.
While stepping to one side to better frame his picture, he lost his footing and plummeted to his death.
Oh my God.
Since then, dozens of other tourists have also passed away in pursuit of the perfect photograph. Among them is 20-year-old John Eric Hastrick. On the 27th of April, 1981, Hastrick was attempting to take a photo not of the canyon, but of the Bright Angel Lodge Hotel on the South Rim. Seeking a better angle, he clambered over a guardrail and, with his camera viewfinder glued to his eye, walked backwards towards the lip of the abyss.
He walked backwards? This guy, I mean, I'm sorry, rest in peace, but it doesn't sound like a very intelligent guy, honestly. You're at the Grand Canyon, you've already hopped over the railing, and you're walking backwards.
He went over the edge and fell to his death before he could line up the shot he wanted.
My goodness.
Almost 2 decades later, on the 19th of August 1999, 25-year-old Gabriel Comerford was visiting Moran Point on the South Rim. He wanted a souvenir photo and, being alone, asked some fellow tourists if they would help him take one. They readily agreed, and Comerford handed them his camera. He then clambered over the guardrail, walked out onto a narrow precipice, lost his footing, slipped down a rocky slope, and fell into the void. Not knowing what else to do, the tourist with his camera used it to take several photographs of Comerford's final moments. Not the souvenir he would have wanted. Many other people have also fallen victim to the desire for the perfect picture.
Do you know what though? I do think with drones now being so cheap to buy, I think you'll see the number of deaths and falls dropping, because you don't need to get anywhere near close to the edge to get a great shot of the canyon now. You can just have your drone do it.
On the edge of the Grand Canyon.
Although I'm not sure if you can use drones at national parks actually. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're allowed.
Despite this, it is interesting to note that on almost any visit to the Grand Canyon National Park, many visitors can be seen in almost any visit to the Grand Canyon National Park, many visitors can be seen in almost any popular viewing area, travelling beyond the railings, clambering onto precarious ledges, or taking other incredible risks in order to pose for pictures. The second common cause of falls from the rim is more nebulous, but relates to the sheer scale of the canyon. Numerous reports exist of visitors being overcome with dizziness or a sense of vertigo when sitting on the canyon edge. One striking incident of this type took place on the 9th of March, 1989. 34-year-old tourist Gisela Elixman took a seat on the very edge of the canyon at Mojave Point on the South Rim and enjoyed the spectacular view. When she tried to stand and move away from the edge, however, she was overcome with dizziness and fell to her death.
Oh my God.
Just 3 days later, the same thing happened again. 21-year-old tourist Yuri Nagata was visiting the West Rim's second trail view overlook as part of a group tour. As they arrived at the viewing area, the tour group leader addressed the group, telling them of the terrible incident involving Elixman. Nagata dutifully listened to this cautionary tale, and then immediately walked to the railing, crossed it, and took a seat on the rim of the canyon. When one of her friends asked her to stand and pose for a picture, she, just like Elixman, lost her balance and fell into the void. While 2 identical incidents...
God, imagine just seeing yourself falling. Like, you could just see the floor getting closer. Oh my God.
Taking place so close together is rare. The story echoes throughout the history of the canyon. Before Nagata and Elixman, there was 21-year-old Elizabeth Hazelhurst, who, in 1971, sat on the rim of the canyon with friends and fatally lost her balance when she tried to stand.
It's just not worth it.
Before her, there was 17-year-old Herbert E. Kolb, who, in 1947, died in exactly the same manner after watching the sunset from the rim with his girlfriend. In each case, the victim took what they perceived to be a small risk. They sat on the edge of the canyon to take in the view, the very last view they would ever see. Thirdly, and finally,
Now, this is just insanity to me. This is just insanity. People that do this kind of stuff, those people that climb skyscrapers and, why? I just don't know why you would risk your life like that.
Small but significant number of falls have been caused by, quite simply, the desire to show off. On the 28th of November, 1992, 38-year-old Greg Austin Gingrich was visiting the park with his family. The group were hiking along the South Rim when Gingrich saw an opportunity to play a practical joke on his teenage daughter. He planned to clamber up onto the low stone wall that separated the path from the canyon edge, then pretend to lose his balance and tumble off towards the void. He would then hop down onto a ledge on the other side of the wall and hunker there for a moment or two, just long enough to give his daughter a fright, before popping back up and revealing himself to be unharmed. His prank didn't go to plan. The moment Gingrich landed on the ledge, he lost his footing and toppled over into the canyon proper.
That moment when you lose your balance and you just know this is it. Oh my God.
He dropped without making a sound, perhaps too shocked by his fatal miscalculation to even cry out as he fell. The target of his practical joke, his teenage daughter, was used to her father playing tricks on her. Unaware that he had actually fallen, she carried on up the path, expecting him to follow as soon as he saw that his joke hadn't landed.
Oh no.
She had walked all the way to the car park and met up with the rest of their group before she realised that anything was truly amiss. It would be past nightfall before a search and rescue team would find Gingrich's body, and fully confirm that his final prank really had gone too far.
This is not the place to do these pranks.
Similarly, showing off may have been a factor in another death on the 8th of September, 1993. 51-year-old James Merriman was a Flagstaff resident who periodically rode his bicycle out to the Grand Canyon in order to crawl through the railings at popular tourist spots and gather coins from ledges, where tourists would throw them for good luck. Merriman would often camp in the canyon during these coin-collecting expeditions, and was known to park rangers. Indeed, just a week before, they had been called to rescue him when he got into difficulty and became stuck on a ledge while gathering coins.
Wow, so he'd already found himself needing their help, and he's gone and done it again a week later. Some people really just don't learn from their mistakes, do they?
This incident, it appears, did not deter Merriman from his money-making scheme. On the 8th of September, he visited Mather Point on the South Rim. Having clambered out past the railing and gathered some coins, he found that he had a spellbound audience of tourists. Confident in his abilities, Merriman began jumping back and forth between two rocks, inviting the watching crowd to take his picture. His final words were simply, "Watch me."
Oh boy.
No sooner had he uttered them than he lost his footing and plunged to his death.
The people
Again,
having to see
these
that
are just
well.
a few incidents from a catalogue of many. Numerous unfortunate souls, the vast majority young and male, have suffered fatal falls while demonstrating their nerve and sure-footedness on the edge of one of the largest chasms on Earth. While it may seem improbable that anyone should fall into the Grand Canyon when the danger posed by it is so evident, it can and does happen. It is easy to decry the victims of these incidents as foolish, and to lament their lack of sense, but it is also important to remember that their lives were cut short by a simple lapse of judgment, a momentary misunderstanding or failure to appreciate the danger before them. In each case, it was a brief and terrible miscalculation, made in a matter of seconds, the consequences of which consumed the entire rest of their lives.
Wow, man. I really want to go see the Grand Canyon, but you better believe I'm going to stay well behind those rails. I'm not. I like to, take chances and stuff like that. I don't mind some risk, But I just don't understand why you'd risk your entire life just to get a photo. To me, that just seems like such a stupid thing to do. But, you know, different strokes for different folks. Some people really place value in getting great pictures. I do think if they were to allow drones, it would probably eliminate people's desire to, you know, take those risks in order to get those photos, because you could just have the drone do it. But I wonder why, because I do think it is illegal to take drones into national parks. Can someone clarify that for me, please, though? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.